man is being treated for burns after his car burst into flames on a busy Adelaide street. He had been driving home after filling the vehicle's LPG tank when he realised something was wrong. The man stopped outside a packed church and managed to escape before that fireball erupted. Witnesses say his legs were on fire, with people rushing to extinguish the flames with water bottles. The explosion sparked fires at 2 neighbouring properties, but they were quickly put out. Christmas morning, there were no doubt some silent tears too over cheap, tacky and ghastly gifts. A new survey claims 20 million unwanted presents change hands in Australia at this time of year. That is almost 1 per person. So the question is, what do you do with an unwanted gift?
Under the pretty wrapping, gift disasters lurk. Tacky T-shirts to useless gadgets. We buy $500 million worth of unwanted gifts each year, $60 per person.
There's just a lot of missing the mark when it comes to Christmas giving.
I guess there's a number of reasons for why a gift would be unwanted. Perhaps it's something that they've already got, it might just not suit their taste, it might be something that they'd never use, or it might have just been for a joke.
2 out of 3 people hang on to unwanted presents out of loyalty to the giver.
Where do I start? These T-shirts are the wrong colour, the wrong style, too big. I've got a million towels, I don't need any more. And what am I going to do with a male barber set?
The top 5 unwanted gifts: unsuitable clothing, horrid homewares, kitchen gadgets, cheap soaps and perfumes.
The main offenders are in-laws, followed closely by work colleagues.
I don't think there's any harm in asking a person what they'd like for Christmas.
Online markets like Gumtree report a 25% increase in listings after Christmas every year. People wanting to offload gifts and sell them for cash.
I might even be able to get $100 for it.
Every year you get these stocking fillers, and quite frankly, we just don't want them. But having said that, one man's trash is another man's treasure, so it might be worth thinking about re-gifting them in the new year.
Or you can always donate gifts to charity. Helen Wellings, 7 News.
A North Sydney restaurant has been targeted by ram raiders. Thieves used a black 4-wheel drive to smash into Sushiro Gourmet Fusion Sushi at about 5 o'clock this morning. The restaurant was closed for the holiday period, but a number of items were stolen. It was one of Australia's greatest acts of valour. It earned Melbourne man Michael Pratt the George Cross. That's the civilian equivalent of the Victoria Cross. He won an audience with the Queen, but few Australians know of his incredible bravery. Victoria Cross recipient Dan Kieran filed this special report for 7 News. He says we should know.
Michael Pratt is the granddad who shouldn't be, the head of a family which shouldn't exist, an Australian hero most don't know.
He was standing about 8 or 10 feet away with his hands outstretched with the 38s and don't move or I'll shoot.
Michael was shot while single-handedly taking on 3 gunmen robbing a Melbourne bank in 1976. He was awarded the George Cross, the civilian equivalent of the Victoria Cross. Alongside Australian VC recipients, he's been received by royalty, including the Queen. Her father instituted the George Cross. The bravery of rescuers during the London Blitz inspired King George VI to decree a Valour Medal for civilians. That was 75 years ago, and Michael's just been to London for the anniversary commemorations.
Well, many congratulations.
Thank you.
Very happy to give you your commemorative medal.
Thank you very much.
And this is the old bank doors right here, so you've ended up with the vehicle parked.
It's been nearly 40 years since Michael returned to the scene where he should have died. The off-duty police constable was driving past the bank.
I saw the 3 of them going into the bank with the balaclavas and handguns.
Michael reacted instinctively. He accelerated across lanes of traffic, jumped the curb and wedged his car flush against the bank door to block the bandits' escape.
Right in here was the car hard up against the glass. The guy was just inside the door there with his handgun.
2 gunmen smashed the glass door to wrench open the door and climb over his car. Michael had grabbed a flimsy jack handle from his boot.
As the first ones came out across the bonnet, I grabbed hold of him and hit him with a good one, and he went down in front of me.
Yep.
And I sort of thought, well, where's the other guy?
Holding down one semi-conscious gunman, Michael turned to see the second one pointing his pistol at him.
I didn't want him to get away. I got him in a bear hug here. We're sort of in this area.
He's come round behind you.
He got round into the doorway of the shop, yeah, and bang. And
wow.
that was it.
Michael was in intensive care for 3 days and was read his last rites.
Punctured both lungs, brushed the main valve of the heart, bounced off my sternum.
This is the bullet. Luckily, a flat-nosed practice round, not with a hollow point.
The jagged around would have mushroomed out, and the jagged edges would have torn my main valve of my heart apart.
Through Michael's identikit, police got the gang.
They face a number of charges, including the attempted murder of Constable Michael Pratt.
The shooter, Keith Four, would become one of the most notorious criminals in Australian history. Years later, Four was convicted of the murder of crime boss Lewis Moran in Melbourne's Gangland Wars.
When we go to all the functions that we go to over in London or to Canberra or wherever, I'm very proud of him.
We regard it as the highest honour that's been awarded to a member of Victoria Police in our 163-year history.
For this quiet Australian hero, there's a history and legacy that'll never be forgotten. Dan Kieran, 7 News.
The spirit of Christmas is alive and well across the city, even for our four-legged friends. Santa did not forget residents of the RSPCA at Yagoona, leaving them some special festive treats.
'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. But nothing can keep these dogs away from the Christmas tree, and Santa had spent plenty of time picking out the perfect presents.
The community are always really generous. We always get lots of treats, toys, lots of gifts for the animals, and they really love all of them.
Their sense of smell was clearly overwhelmed, so many to choose from, and so much pesky wrapping paper in the way. New toys, new friends, and new wardrobe pieces for winter 2016. After the grown-ups were done, it was time for the little ones to enjoy the festivities. They may not know the meaning of Christmas, but they do know it's a special time of year. Once the dogs were finished swapping Santa stories, they made way for their feline friends. Their Christmas isn't quite so energetic, just lots of cautious exploring. It's cat breeding season, so the shelter is full of kittens. These animals may not have a home yet, but today they're part of the family. Kath Turner, 7 News.
On a day the world celebrates the birth of Jesus Christ, we are looking back at the birth of creatures great and small this year. Zoos around Australia enjoyed a baby boom in 2015, delighting their handlers and crowds.
What better way to start 2015 than with an expanding meerkat population? These inquisitive characters are always zoo favourites. The two pups were born at Werribee Open Range Zoo in January. A couple of months later, this little gem was born at Melbourne Zoo. Kimya, the Western Lowland gorilla, delivered her first baby in March and attracted huge crowds as they made their public debut.
Everybody's sort of, on a high and just feels a bit clucky.
She's beautiful, wonderful mother.
By April, she had a name, Kanzi, meaning a treasure in Swahili. Sydney's Taronga Zoo wasn't to be outdone. It welcomed a baby Western Lowland gorilla in May. The baby boy was born to experienced mum Frala and silverback Kibali. While gorillas are crowd pleasers, they weren't the only zoo babies stealing hearts this year. Melbourne Zoo celebrated the birth of a pygmy hippo in May, the first calf born there since 1981. Obi took to the water well and was swimming in the big pool in no time.
He is beautiful, and I don't often say that animals are cute, but he's extremely cute.
Cute, yes, but as cute as a baby tiger, well, that's debatable. Dreamworld welcomed this adorable cub in July. Kai was 6 weeks old when he got to meet the media, and before long, he was a fully fledged star. And just last month, Kai became a big brother when 2 healthy girls were born at Dreamworld. Believe it or not, tigers have a gestation period of between 3 and 4 months, keeping mums busy. But let's get back to the primates. Melbourne Zoo celebrated the birth of a baby baboon in May. Juju ventured out into her exhibit in September, never straying far from mum. Juju had a tough start in life. Her mother didn't know how to be a mum, so keepers had to step in and keep the baby healthy. Dreamworld's tiger cubs were matched by Werribee Zoo's lion cub triplets. The boys lapped up the attention of the television cameras. They've only just gone on public display in time for the school holidays. And just this month, these baby squirrel monkeys made their debut at Taronga, clinging to their mothers' backs like tiny backpacks. It's not just animals born in Australia that have kept us smiling this year. Panda cubs in China take some beating for cuteness. It's hard to believe these tiny creatures can grow so big. This brave dog had us laughing as he scared off 3 bears who dared to enter his backyard in California. The cubs no match for the French bulldog. But once again, it's the gorillas that had us entertained as this young one at an American zoo played an adorable game of peekaboo with a toddler. A pair of 2-year-olds reminding us we're all primates. Melina Saris, 7 News.
After some morning cloud, it was a mostly sunny and mild Christmas day in Sydney. Tomorrow's forecast is crucial as the Sydney-Hobart cruise set out. Here is 7 News meteorologist David Brown with the full forecast.
Good evening. It's been a rather pleasant day in town. Tomorrow we're looking at a thundery change pushing through late in the day. Today's top was a little over 25 degrees by mid-afternoon. At the moment it's hovering around 23 degrees. In the metro area, much the same as we can see temperature-wise, although Cronulla managed a top of around 27 degrees. Likewise at Bondi, cooler in the high country at Katoomba, around 20 degrees. Tomorrow should be ideal for the start for the Sydney to Hobart race. Northeasterly winds running at around about 15 to 20 knots under a clear sky. That said, the fleet will encounter a strong to gale force southerly change during the evening. The change will also bring a period of rain and storms tomorrow night. Beyond that, the weather is looking good as the fleet slowly heads down towards Hobart. In fact, the fleet might encounter a light wind regime during Wednesday. In fact, yes, they might even run out of wind. From the satellite, as we can see, clear conditions around most of the state, although we've had a few showers and storms affecting the northeast corner today. In the west, there's a change starting to head our way. Here it is here. It'll start to push through tomorrow, bringing areas of rain and thunderstorms as it slowly moves towards the eastern seaboard, reaching the east coast late in the day, followed by this burst of wind sweeping in from the south that'll reach strong to gale force at times about the south and central coast. Around the nation tomorrow, monsoonal storms to continue right across the tropical north. Steamy conditions in Darwin and Cairns around 30 degrees. Brisbane should see a few showers around 30. Storms building in Canberra at late in the afternoon, 26 degrees. Melbourne soaking rain for the Boxing Day test, but the rain should ease to a few showers from around about mid-afternoon. Clear skies expected.